So I want to make this video. If you're building a life insurance agency, if you're trying to figure out talent, if you're trying to figure out how to build teams, today was a pretty cool and important day in our business. And ultimately, I wanted to just document this journey for myself in the process of building a life insurance agency. For the longest time, the past 2 to 4 months, I've been recruiting the wrong way, building teams the wrong way, and ultimately today was a huge unlock. So if you're looking to find and identify talent, here's what I realized. For the past 2 to 4 months, bringing in some people, I brought in a lot of wrong candidates. I was looking for the wrong things. I was looking for, people who were hungry, who didn't have the soft skills. I didn't know, should I look at their previous success? Should I look at what have they done in the past? Or there's so many different things that I've saw that I didn't know what made a strong candidate. And I want to share with you what I identified to be the most successful candidates, the process of creating quality candidates, and ultimately why it's so important to have high quality. So what I realized is that in the past few months, I've tried to bring on a lot of 2s and turn them into 10s. Okay, people who are hungry, that want to work hard, never had a lot of experience. I think I can train them and turn them into 10s. And I found that with the short process of the training, really hard to turn a 2 into a 10. Instead, what I found today after onboarding and finding people who actually have previous success in the industry, who've actually done what I'm looking to, can plug into our system and become successful, it's easier to take a 7 and turn them into a 10, or an 8 into a 10 by simple small tweaks. And through this process, I've realized for the last few months, I've been hitting my head on the wall, trying to build teams, trying to build talent by hiring the wrong people that really has slowed our organization down and prevented it from growing. And when you hire the wrong person, Peter, you actually slow yourself down. The amount of energy, the amount of time that I've wasted these past 3 to 4 months hiring the wrong people, it's brutal. You did that to yourself by not knowing how to hire. Now, how I hire and how we've learned to hire, especially if you're looking to build a team, is important. Number one, we have typically a multiple step interview process. Now we are able to follow, people that do apply from the brand here they have to go through an interview process. Number one, we're looking for people who can make the full-time commitment, who can actually go all in, who has previous experience as well. That has been the most important factor. Customer service experience is cool, but final expense specific experience is even better. And a lot of times I was turning people who I thought I could turn into final expense agents, who I thought I could turn into agents who could be successful selling final expense, but it takes a specific, warm-hearted individual to be actually successful. And the easiest breakthrough was taking someone who's already sold $10,000 of AP, plugging them into the system, and having them succeed on day one. The amount of effort it typically took to train someone when they first got started with me 2-3 months ago was insane. I had to go from A to Z to walk them through how to say this or what final expense is. Compared to today, onboarding someone who's already sold final expense, who's already sold 20, 30 policies, and plug them into a system where they can win. I realized I was hiring for the wrong reasons. I was hiring to try to get people to fulfill a role rather than people that actually have the experience, that already know how to master the role. I was hiring, trying to build people up, in a sense of ground zero to absolute sales master, rather than taking someone who's already done it, who needs to become a master, who already is the master, who already is close to becoming the master, who's right on the edge. They just need a little bit of a little kick across the finish line. So as you're recruiting and as you're building teams, look for people who can plug into your system. Look for people who already have the sales experience under their belt, who already have the reps, who already have the dials, who already have the hours and hours and hours of heartache that they've already gone through, so that they are prepared and seasoned to get to you. Instead of taking someone who's never done the hard work, who's never done the boring work, who's never made the dials, who's never plugged into a system, who's never worked more than 50 hours in sales, and try to turn them into a superstar. You'd be dumb to do that. And that's what I did for the longest time. This is why I make this video. And ultimately, I think the big core recognition is the goal of sales is to hire for the position, because you don't hire for a marketer and say, I'm going to go find a janitor and teach them to become a marketer because they've walked past the marketing department and they've peeped their ear in. No, I want to find a marketer who knows marketing, who can teach me how to market, who can turn and go into the marketing system and absolutely blow up the marketing system. For the longest time, I didn't do that, and I was okay with not hiring studs. And if you want to build an elite sales team, you must remind yourself that I am looking to hire studs. I am looking to hire people who are badasses, people who can plug into the system and actually do well. And through that, I've changed my hiring process by implementing a course. This has been a breakthrough. Not only has the hiring of picking people have been changed, but ultimately how I onboard people. And I never knew how important it was to onboard someone until just a few days of how important that experience is. People just come in, get started, figure it out. No, the onboarding process has been revolutionized. It has been personalized. It has been, actually walk through like a sales pipeline. Just as you nurture and work your leads when it comes to sales, do the same when it comes to your agents that you're onboarding. So number one, it's step-by-step contracting, step-by-step tutorials, walkthroughs, and then even the course. The one thing that changed the game was actually building out a sales course that agents have to go through before they start. So I'm saying you have a week to master the sales course. It's going to go through the underwriting. It's going to go through the script. You have to master your script, and you have to take tests along the way, because if you come to me and you are not prepared on day one, I will not start you, and you will no longer have this opportunity. So it's a weird thing when you create that pressure and you create the importance of you need to know your stuff before you get started. People actually study the resources. They practice their scripts. They learn the underwriting. They learn how to do their rebuttals. They learn the carriers so that when day one starts, all I have to focus on is a few shifts and you're ready to rock, because of how important and how many, bottlenecks we created by creating a system where there's urgency in your onboarding, and you have to actually level up and become successful before you even start. So today was a huge breakthrough, especially as building an agency, building a team. Talent is everything. Talent will separate our team from your team. Talent will separate the number one soccer team versus the number last place soccer team. It's literally by the people and your leader. Your leader has to be good. Your people have to be good. Create the best teams, and through those teams, you'll get more output and you'll make more money and you'll solve different problems. If my whole team doesn't know how to close, I'm not talking about, hey, how can we fix our tonality? We're figuring out how can we go through the basics. You don't want to go through that with your sales team. You want to have a savage, a stud, plug into your system when they've gone through the reps. They know how to tweak their voice. They know how to slow their tonality. They know how to pause at specific spots in the script. And they know how to handle objections a certain way because they don't want to offend the client, because they've done that so many times. And when they've done it over and over and over, you can take these savages and studs, give them an opportunity where they actually can make money, and have them go eat and do what studs do and what savages do and what sales guys do, and they win. Plug them into the system, you will actually build a system. But if you take a 2-player, try to turn them into a 10, who have never been a savage or a stud, who have never been the number one guy at a company before, never been the leading sales guy, has never crushed sales before, and you expect that to happen in your business, you're dumb. And Peter, you did that for months, and the game's finally over. This is what we're figuring out, and ultimately, it's a game break, especially if you're building a team. So love you guys. Want to share with you, this is how you build successful talent, or onboard and hire talent to build a team that's going to help you crush as a life insurance. And ultimately, with this, we've set a record right now as an agency. We sold the most amount of policies, and it's not because of our leads, it's the systems, it's because of the people that sell. They become better, they level up their skills, and it's a sales team that will get you where you want to go because of how talented they are. Cheers.